Hey Melinda, how you doing? I got your sketches up. Um, you're doing good stuff here. You really are. I think that. Well, let's take a look. This caring for pictorial. This is. I mean, it's so self-evident. It's self-explanatory. I mean, it says exactly what it is. This is fantastic. Really good job here. Now, reliable and abstract, I think it's a little bit harder to kind of wrap your head around. I'm not really getting reliable out of this. I am. I understand. I shouldn't say I'm not. I am. I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're going. But I think this is stronger. I think this is so strong right here. Okay, a couple of recommendations moving into your final presentation, which you don't have to do. You can submit this just for the M2 final submission because you've already done your edits and you could. I just have a couple of comments. If you want to submit, that's great. But I have a couple of comments. The one thing I think is the hands are a little bit bulky. Like if you were to take, now what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your own hands and take a look at some illustrations of some hands to see how they would look if they were reaching out like that. Take a look at them from your own angle. And you can see that some, like the hand part right here and the thumb part is really bulky. So they're not really as, and I understand that you're not going for a direct illustration of hands. I totally get that, but I think these could look a little bit more like outreaching hands holding that or grasping that heart. The heart itself, I think also right through here, you've got that little bump right there. So this really has to be perfect. The heart, a good way to do this as an illustrator is to just draw half the heart, then duplicate it, flip it over, and join the paths. And they'll ensure that you have perfect symmetry. You could almost even do the same thing with the hands too. Okay, one thing else I want you to consider is removing the blue background and see how this works standing on its own, which means you wouldn't be able to use that light color for the hands. And you could experiment there. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying experiment and see what you think is more effective with the square or without the square. Then over here on the reliable, what I would like you to do is really clean these paths up. Let's get in here and let me show you what I mean. Let me get over here. Okay, so you see these paths right here. See how they're kind of not real smooth paths. We see that over here as well, where these should be really perfectly smooth organic curves. Okay, and then we see it right here also. See how that kind of droops in a little bit there. So try to work some regularity into here. I think the main thing is right here and here, where those paths don't meet up. I also don't know if it's really a great idea to have these really super sharp points in your logo. In terms of general visual communication, sharp points, anything sharp in visual communications equates to what? Pain or danger. So it could be argued that the Nike logo has a sharp point that would indicate pain, which is probably not something you want to show in a logo for tennis shoes. And I've said that for years, and I truly believe that. I think that logo could have been rounded out a little bit more effectively. And I definitely think these need to really consider that factor in visual communication where point equates pain or danger. Quite often, just last week I was driving by a dentist's office and I saw a logo that had really pointed edges, and I thought, wow, it looks painful. Who wants to go to a dentist with a painful logo? So I hope that makes sense. But I really think that you're doing a fantastic job. I really do. So let's just get these adjusted just according to what, those recommendations I made, and a little bit more experimentation, and then just go ahead and submit your M2 final submission. So fantastic job. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, any questions at all? If I need to clarify anything, by now I'm pretty active. So just let me know and I'll be glad to do so. All right. Thanks, Melinda.